Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw Countout. It's the show where we count things down. What is today, Larson? When is this going up? It's going up that Monday, right?
Yeah, no, Tuesday. This is July 16th.
Okay.
The day we would usually do Raw reviews, but since you're somewhere in the United Kingdom.
I'm gone. I'm not here.
The third week of your vacation.
I'm a hologram.
We're just going, looking back past 6 or so months and talking about some of the most important, impactful, or darn it, just entertaining moments of Raw.
I'm living it up.
Shockingly enough, we could find 10 of them.
Yeah. I'm living it up in London right now. Or I'm dead. Maybe my aircraft went down.
Let's not.
This is scheduled to go live, so if I'm dead, this is still going to go up. You're on your couch right now, I'm assuming.
Or I might be at the gym.
Doing a whole lot of nothing.
Depending.
All-day gym sessions. That's what you should do. Take advantage
ideal.
of it.
That'd be ideal.
5 hours at the gym.
Come back. You're gone 3 weeks to come back, and I look like Finn Balor. Jacked. Washboard abs.
In your words, not going to happen. Anyways, yeah, like you said, we're not reviewing Raw today. It probably sucks. And instead, we're going to take a look at Raws that didn't quite suck. We've got 10 moments that we could think of that were actually not terrible, or they were just significant.
Yes.
Either made us chuckle or it changed the landscape of wrestling for good or bad. Speaking of which, here we go. We're going to get right into it.
Yes.
Number 10.
10.
The wild card rule announced.
This definitely changed things. Not necessarily for the better.
Definitely not for the better.
No, this happened on the May 6th edition of Raw. This was less than a month after Superstar Shakeup. And so Vince comes out to open the show because you got people from Raw, people from SmackDown showing up. And he's like, this can't happen. Wait, I have an idea. Wild card rule. A limited number of people, at first 3, could cross brands on any given episode. And then he proceeds to proclaim himself a genius.
Sorry, yeah.
And then mid-episode, yes, Lars Sullivan seemingly intimidates Vince into making it 4. Since then, busted wide open.
Apparently, off camera, many other people have intimidated Vince McMahon into making it just
because in an episode of SmackDown, there was 12 members of the Raw roster who showed up.
Yeah, they did.
Back
yeah.
For the 24/7 lumberjack match.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wild card rule has really hampered the creative development on each brand. You get the same 4 or 5, maybe 6 stories going on in each show. Not a whole lot of time for anybody else not involved in wild card rule storylines to get really any significant TV time. It's like the 24/7 title is a TV time for anybody that's not involved in the feud with Roman Reigns, essentially, or Shane McMahon.
Not necessarily surprising that Vince McMahon and the WWE would try to sign up the largest roster in the history of professional wrestling and institute a rule that limits the number of people that can be on TV to a very small amount, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
It's been, I'll be honest, in my opinion, bit of a disaster. I do not see how this is making anything better.
Yeah.
And in fact, so far, and granted, we are filming this about a little bit more than a month prior to when it airs, but lately, ratings haven't been good.
No, they have not gone up significantly. No.
They've not improved.
By all accounts, this was a move made to satisfy the wants, needs, desires of their current and future broadcast partners, that being USA Network and Fox. But this is a situation they shouldn't have really found themselves in to begin with. This should have been discussed before the Superstar Shakeup. This should have been worked out before Superstar Shakeup. I understand the rationale of USA and Fox wanting the top stars and WWE on their shows, beyond their networks, because that would, in theory, mean more eyeballs on those shows and therefore higher ad rates for commercial breaks. I get all that. However, there needs to be a meeting between WWE and the individual broadcast partners, and WWE needs to tell the broadcast partners, sell their broadcast partners on why this roster will work for your show and equitably distribute the top-tier guys between those shows, which I actually felt they kind of did. You had Seth on Raw and Brock part-time. You have Roman on SmackDown. I mean, it's from an objective standpoint, as a full-time observer of the product, it's fairly fair.
The bigger issue, as with all this stuff, is simply that it's just the creative. None of this would be an issue if the creative was there making new stars, making big stars. Seth could easily be on par with Roman. Any number of these. But Finn Balor could be on par with any of these guys. Kevin Owens could be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. but the creative has dropped the ball. Vince has dropped the ball. And so we're left in this situation where they kind of feel like Roman is the answer to all this stuff, and he obviously isn't.
No,
he obviously isn't. SmackDown's ratings are commensurate now after the wild card rule. Same place they've always been, within about 80 to 85, maybe 90% of Raw. That's where they are. That's where they always are.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing has changed. And maybe they'll understand that, okay, there are bigger, deeper issues at play here. Real change has to happen, and it's not just who you're putting on the shows that really makes a difference.
Yeah, they need to learn that it's not just about stars. It's about intriguing storylines that are involving and are engrossing enough that people feel like they have to watch the show.
Yeah. There was a time when SmackDown was beating Raw in the ratings, and Paul Heyman was in charge, and the creative was fantastic. And it wasn't because of who was on the show; it was how those people look. We've seen this. We've said this a million times. By and large, pretty much everybody in the WWE right now, if you've made it to main roster, with some exceptions, I mean, guys like No Way Jose, they're not going to be main eventers, but like so many, a huge percentage of the talent on main roster are main event level performers.
Yep.
They are. It's just how they're being used.
Yep.
I mean, you see, look at Becky Lynch like a year ago based on where she is now. It's like, was she a main eventer back then? She wasn't booked that way. She wasn't creatively handled that way.
Talent was always there, though.
The talent was always there. Exactly. It just takes one good run of good creative, and then the people will get behind them.
Yep.
Moving on, number 9. Sami Zayn mutters the phrase AEW. This was on the first episode of Corey Graves' Electric Chair.
This is also on the first episode of Raw following Double or Nothing, and everybody's asking themselves, how's WWE going to respond to Double or Nothing and All Elite Wrestling? How are they going to respond? Are they going to bring out their best effort, the best Raw in 25 years?
52 minutes of not wrestling to kick off the show.
Yeah, and then on a talk show dubbed the Electric Chair, where we're unsure who the exact host of the show was. Was it Sami Zayn's show? Was it Corey Graves' show? Was the chair the host as well as the mascot? Who knows?
Yeah, was it Skinner from The X-Files, who starred as Shocker in the movie Shocker?
Who knows? Was it Dave Mustaine from the Sweating Bullets music video?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Was he an electric chair in that one?
There was an electric chair in the video, I believe. At least there was some Megadeth video that had an electric chair in it. I thought it was Sweating Bullets, but it was also...
No, that sounds right, but there's probably multiple.
A long time ago.
It's probably a couple of them.
Yeah. Nonetheless, Sammy's taking questions from the WWE Universe, and he's given some static to somebody about their question. He says, "You could have asked me anything. You could have asked me about AEW."
And then the crowd was like, "Oh!"
And it got people talking. We were on our way back from Vegas when this happened, and it got people talking. Well, was this a shoot? Was this a work? Was this approved? Is this Sammy going off script? What is it? What is it? What is it?
Yeah. And even then, like, there were like conflicting reports.
Yeah.
It was that weird thing, like Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez had conflicting
different things. Yeah. And then Dave was kind of like, well, I'm sure Sammy got the green light to say it from Vince, but it's a situation where not everybody is told, so Vince is working people on the back.
Yeah.
To make people think it was a shoot.
Dave Meltzer basically just said that Brian Alvarez's source is kind of crap and lower level.
I know. But like, if Vince really does do that stuff, that's got to be so damn frustrating.
Oh, it's terrible. That'd be awful.
I mean, I understand her perspective. It gets people talking about it, so on and so forth. But these are people under your employ, man.
I've always hated the concept of working the boys.
I know.
I've always hated that. It's like, and then, you get that stuff where, like, was it that episode of Raw, or was it the one before that? What was the thing where Stephanie was in a backstage Raw meeting, an all hands meeting, where she starts talking about, now we've got competition like All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
And they said it was the first time that had been mentioned as a competition thing, in like an all hands meeting such as that. And with the idea, she's back there saying this stuff like, oh, we're one big family. We're in this together. But then, you're working the boys, or this guy can't do a Southern accent right. Like, nobody wants to. That's not like a family atmosphere. It's like a dysfunctional. It's like a McMahon family atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
You don't get hugs, you get lies.
Yeah, where Stephanie beats Vince at pool, and Vince starts yelling through like an intercom situation. because he's so upset.
God, do I remember that? So I don't remember
That's
that
one
story.
on that Reddit thread, the Twitter thread about crazy Vince stories. It's like she beat him at pool and then started talking trash, and he lost his mind.
Yeah.
Like, this is his daughter.
Yeah.
His adult daughter.
Oh man, yeah. T has beat me at horse many times.
Yeah.
I just laugh my ass off because when my dad does the same. Whenever I beat him, when I first began to be able to beat him at anything in basketball, he would just crack up. He would just laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how normal people act.
Yeah. They don't become enraged and start yelling at your child.
God damn, man. Oh boy.
Anyways, let's move on to number 8.
All right, let's move on. Here we go. Number 8.
8.
Brock Lesnar learns about Money in the Bank stipulations.
This is the same episode as the Sami
fine print.
Sami thing we just talked about, May 27th. Again, this was something we learned about on the way back from Vegas.
He's like recreating that Batman meme where he slaps Robin.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was actually pretty darn funny. This is the debut of the Boombox Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yes.
Now, the week prior, he had come out with the briefcase on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But in this one, he had the custom briefcase with some speakers.
Yeah, like
inset
molded
the
into the
it
briefcase.
Good.
It was cool.
It looked good.
They should sell that one.
So later on in the episode, I believe he's about to make a declaration about who's going to cash in on a win. And so Heyman's reading from the contract. And he's reading, and it gets to the point where he talks about that Brock has 1 year from the date he won the briefcase to cash in. And Brock says, wait, what?
You see a light bulb go off in the big purple bucket head.
Yeah. And so he grabs a contract from him and starts hitting Heyman with it. A year?
He said,
you have a year.
And Heyman yells back, how did you not know that?
Yeah.
Which is a terrific line because it was exactly the sentiment echoed by everybody. It was a marvelous bit of absurdist, almost meta type humor.
Yeah.
Of course Brock wouldn't know. He's never there, even though he has been cashed on.
Yeah, cashed in on before.
Cashed in on.
His apathy towards his job is so vast.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the particulars.
Yeah, that was a very clever bit of writing.
It was
right
pretty
there.
funny. It was pretty funny. And then the one thing I enjoy about Brock and Heyman's relationship, it's always on the verge of absolutely falling apart.
Right.
Like, how many times has Heyman said something that Brock didn't like, and like he will basically threaten violence.
Yeah,
towards
right
Heyman.
In front of everybody.
Yeah,
There's like no respect there.
None. And it can be moderately entertaining from time to time, but this was actually pretty damn funny. We started hitting them with the contract. That was pretty good.
You know, there's
it was like a 2-week period where it actually looked like Brock was having fun.
I'm not gonna say what he said, but there was that one line in the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast.
Yeah.
and oh my goodness. Something tells me the relationship that's just their relationship turned up to 11.
Probably.
Probably
is. It probably is.
Oh my goodness gracious! But yeah, no, it was actually a very funny moment. And when we finally got home after 12 hours of driving, I popped it on the next morning. I legitimately chuckled at it, and everybody got a kick out of it.
Yeah, it was pretty darn funny.
Brock, oddly enough, in that episode at least, seemed like the least checked out person.
Yeah, I know
that there was. You know?
Maybe it's because of the first time he's ever had this opportunity to be Mr. Money in the Bank. It's like the one thing he hasn't done.
Yeah,
and it's a different dynamic for him than
I think
before.
It's something different, and I think he understood that there was a whole new. I think Brock understood that there was a whole new level of trolling the fans that he could then enjoy and run with, and the what do you call it? The Brock box. Yeah.
Oh, Brock Party, all that
Brock
stuff.
Party stuff. I think he really sort of embraced.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And I think that even went all the way to Super Showdown with, the pratfall with Paul Heyman.
Yes.
And I thought it was good stuff.
Well, Steve here may be on vacation. Business keeps rock and rolling here at Going in Raw. So before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Lightstream. Are you tired of credit card bills with their astronomically high interest rates? Are you ready to pay off your credit card balance and start saving some money? If you are, then get yourself a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream and get a rate as low as 5.95% APR with AutoPay. You can get a loan from $5,000 all the way up to $10,000, all with no fees, and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. Plus, your interest rate is fixed, so it will never go up over the life of the loan. And right now, friendos can get a special interest rate discount by going to lightstream.com/GIR. That's lightstream.com/GIR. Loans are subject to credit approval. Rate includes a 0.5% auto-pay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/GIR for more information. Thank you to Lightstream for sponsoring today's show, and you're really helping out Going in Raw by going to lightstream.com/GIR.
Number 7. Finn Balor pins John Cena.
So on the lead up to the Royal Rumble, the build was at first Braun Strowman getting a rematch against Brock Lesnar. That was going to be the match.
Yes.
Rematch from Crown Jewel.
Yes.
And then they decided to pivot. Change course. That's like, the screeching of tires.
Well, it's more that sounds more like a droid.
Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Anyways, so and they did this kayfabe wise.
We both aspire to be Hightower.
Yeah,
wasn't Hightower the guy?
Michael Winslow. Yeah, that's the actor's name. An episode of Raw where Mr. McMahon shows up at the arena, and Braun doesn't realize this. His limo rips the door off.
Oh yeah.
And to punish Braun, he fines him, I believe, $100,000, and then says, "Your match with Brock, it's off."
Oh yeah, it was all awkward. And
it was
weird.
a terrible rationale for getting Brock out of the match. However, we did get something good. We got a good in-ring segment with Vince pretty much saying that Finn lacks the ingredients. He says, "You can't handle all this beef."
Yeah, that was a great line. Look at all the beef in this ring.
You can't handle all that.
Yeah.
So it's Finn, it's Cena, it's Drew, and somebody else.
Probably
large.
Lashley, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Lashley. And so the main event is a 4-way match to close that episode of Raw that I mentioned, January 14th. And Finn pins John Cena following a coup de grace. He wins. Cena cuts a promo, putting Finn over, raises his arm. Pretty huge moment for Finn because it's the match.
All these people believe in you.
Yeah.
And I believe in you.
Yeah, you remember
That's
that.
how you know.
Yeah.
John Cena is trying to give his mojo,
his blessing, if you will,
blessing to somebody else, and it happens to a very select few. He kind of did it with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he got that rub, but to do the full promo,
he didn't do the promo for Nakamura.
No, I don't think they had time. All these people believe in you, and I believe in you.
Yeah,
it's like a
Finn said,
Saturday morning cartoon or
Finn
something.
said, "I believe in myself, and all in the W Universe believes in me." Even if you don't believe in me, Vince. And it gave us a match we've been longing for: Finn versus Brock.
Yeah,
it's a match that WWE Universe wanted. Apparently, Brock wanted for a while, and it happened, and it was actually really good.
Yeah,
they
it was
actually
a really good
booked it
match.
in a way to make it seem like Finn had a real chance to win.
Yeah. Yeah, Brock actually had a pretty decent streak of matches with Finn, AJ, Daniel Bryan, of course, and then the Seth Rollins wasn't really a match; it was just a bunch of low blows and cheap shots.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it was. Of course, that did raise the question: why didn't Finn summon the demon?
Why didn't he do demon for Rumble?
Why didn't he do demon for Rumble?
I don't know.
Maybe he just wanted to prove. Maybe he felt the demon would be cheating, and he wanted to prove that he could be the man. Maybe he wanted.
But from a marketing standpoint, think they can market it Demon versus Beast.
I know.
I mean, kayfabe. I don't know. Should there be a rematch, I would assume we would see Demon Finn versus Man Finn.
Yeah.
Should there be a rematch?
Honestly, it's.
I wish there was some kayfabe explanation for it.
When I just think about this stuff, it's so frustrating. Could you imagine like a Prince Devitt type Balor trying to challenge Brock Lesnar? How people would be nutting for that. They'd be going crazy. Have like Gallows and Anderson just attacking on the slide.
That'd be great, man.
Chopping him down, going up against him. Oh, man.
It'd be great.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Yeah. Nope.
Anyways.
Nope.
I forgot that I'd written down some of the crappier moments here on Raw.
Oh, we'll get to those at the close.
At the close. Okay, fair enough. Let's move on then. Number 6. Seth Rollins and Triple H have a little emotional promo on
this
Raw.
is really cool, I thought. This is on the Raw after the Rumble, January 28th.
Look at that. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, look at that real emotion between the two.
There was real emotion. That's what made it impactful. So Seth comes out to open the show, talks about what winning the Rumble means to him.
Sure.
And it's one of the few times where someone pointed at the Mania sign, and it felt real and genuine and emotional because you get the sense that it looked like he's about to break down.
Yeah.
Because he was overcome with emotion.
Yeah.
Triple H comes down, and very rarely do we see that sense of, I guess, mentor-protege relationship on our screens.
Right, yeah, sure.
We got a glimpse of that a little bit when Triple H on, was it Raw 25, whatever it was, closed the show and Finn's there and they're all two-sweeting and stuff. We got a little bit of that, but it was so
thick.
heartfelt.
Yeah.
It felt like a dad coming in the ring to tell his son, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, totally.
You've come into your own. You've accomplished your dreams. And it's genuine emotional moments like that we don't really get on WWE television very often.
Didn't they both kind of crack a little bit?
They did.
Yeah.
They both seemed like they were about to cry.
Yeah.
So this, at one point, this segment where Triple H had to turn around mid-sentence and kind of do this to kind of gather himself a little bit.
Yeah.
You can tell these guys are probably really close. The Triple H sees a lot, maybe of himself and Seth.
When I look at you, I see myself, except none of the like super politicking stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a super impactful because you don't see stuff like this very often.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. I'd like to see more stuff like this.
I know, me too. Again, just let these people be genuine, and you probably just get so much.
Oh, awesome content. I know. It'd be
Yeah,
great.
a lot of
It'd be
content.
really great.
Good content.
And so they had that little back to forth, heart to heart, emotional. And then Triple H said, well, you got to declare who you're going after at Mania. I want you to do it tonight. And eventually Seth, I want Lesnar, of course.
Yeah, of course.
You know, that's what happened.
I'm a Raw guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's Monday Night Rollins.
Rollins.
So, of course, he's going after the Universal Championship. But, it was just a really cool, heartfelt moment. Kind we don't really see very often.
Agreed. Moving on. Number 5. The 24/7 title revealed.
So now, like, Foley's actual promo revealing it wasn't necessarily met with enthusiasm because he pulls that belt out of the bag and everybody's like, oh, that belt is ugly.
Well, let's rewind a little bit. He shows up. They do a couple shots of him arriving to the arena.
Yeah, kind of teasing it, yeah.
He has it, and there's like you can see a little flash of green, so you're like, oh, God, it's got a green strap. What? And then he comes out, and he kind of doesn't do a great, and he even acknowledged this.
On social media afterwards, yeah.
He kind of didn't do a great job selling it. Number one, I kind of think that that creative, that Vince, whoever, loaded him with a bit too much stuff.
Yeah, they did, because it was like a dual announcement that was convoluted.
That was the one. Yeah, it was a dual. He was saying the third hour of Raw, because they're having issues keeping people in the third hour in ratings. The third hour of Raw needs to be more Raw. And that night alone, they changed the lighting scheme of the arena, and they changed the graphics package to be like more black and white.
Yeah, like all the house lights were brought down. They turned off all the graphics on the Tron.
Yeah.
It was a simple red raw graphic on a black background.
Yeah.
It was very simple, very pared down, had more of a house show feel, which I really liked.
Yeah, and I thought that general idea, if they saw it through, which did they, Larson?
No,
they didn't.
2 weeks.
That simple idea of let's make it more simplistic. Let's bring it to the wrestling. You know, you can sort of speculate and extrapolate. That could mean like maybe the matches would be a bit more physical. Maybe they'd be longer. Maybe they'd be given more time to breathe. Maybe be more in-ring storytelling, what have you. It'd give people a real reason to stick around, or there'd be more stakes involved and give people a reason to stick around. And none of that. It's just par for the course now.
It was a superficial change that lasted all 2 weeks. Anyways, getting back to Foley's.
So he continues on. He talks about that, but then he pivots to basically unveiling the 24/7 title. He said this thing can be defended across every brand, including NXT, UK, and 205, which, of course, has not come to pass. It's a comedy title.
Yet, yes.
And he said, and we're going to kick things off right now with a scramble. He just tosses the belt in the middle of the ring, and then the loser locker room comes running out, and they all fight for it. And it was a fairly entertaining way to kick off the 24 title, and
it
it
was
has
actually
been
pretty fun.
A fairly entertaining title to keep track of, mainly thanks to the work of R-Truth, Carmella, and to a lesser degree Jinder Mahal, who seems to be and Drake Maverick, who seem to be the main guys always on top of R-Truth. So it has accomplished a goal in terms of adding something new, fresh, and pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it's generally one of the more entertaining aspects of any given episode of Raw or SmackDown.
But it's just become one small element of an otherwise pretty stale product.
Oh yeah.
And of course the title itself just horrendously ugly.
It looks like a clock diner.
It does. Yeah, it looks like something
diner clock.
Out of BioShock, a clock diner. So yeah, it's really ugly, and I think that kind of lends a little bit of comedy to it, which is what it ended up being anyways.
Yeah.
Apparently it was also at the suggestion, That was one of many suggestions, the only one that was actually kept, that was suggested by the USA Network as one way to help ratings.
Yes.
I don't really
Apparently, it was the only good idea, according to, I think it was Meltzer mentioned that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just WWE's perspective, the only idea that they thought was good. Who knows?
Idea number one was probably long-term vision, and they're like, that's a horrible idea.
That's a terrible idea.
How do we
tried
do that
once.
Seat of my pants. That's how I've always done it. Anyways, let's move on. Number 4. Batista attacks Flair.
This was great. This might actually be my personal it might be my personal favorite because we had heard rumblings that Batista wanted to come back for one last run.
This is probably my second personal favorite.
It's so good. It was so well executed. Anyways,
nothing can beat number 2 on this list.
Yeah, number 2 is great. So they're having Ric Flair's 70th birthday celebration on Raw, and they're building up to it throughout the whole show. And we've heard for a while that Batista wanted to do one last run, one last program with Triple H. He'd been lobbying it for a long time, and had apparently fallen on deaf ears for the most part. And we hadn't really heard anything of late about Batista returning. And so
the closest we got was at Raw 25.
Yeah,
SmackDown 1000.
Yeah, where he kind of teased there's some tension between the two.
Evolution came back. Yeah.
But on this particular night, I don't believe there's any word in advance that Batista was going to show up. So they introduced a special guest for Ric Flair's birthday celebration, and then Triple H, they unveiled the custom belt they made for him. And then Triple H says, all right, here's Ric Flair. Introduces him. Music plays. No Rick.
Yeah.
Everybody waits. They're confused. Cut the Titantron. And rather than photographing it like they normally would, we see a camera, a long shot with Batista grabbing another cameraman saying, come with me, follow me, follow me.
Yeah.
More on a kind of like a fly on the wall approach. I wish they do a lot more often. And so they finally cut to that camera.
It made logical sense what was happening.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And they cut to that camera. Batista goes into a room and pulls out an unconscious Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And then Batista talks into the camera and addresses Triple H.
Understanding that would be on the Tron in the arena, Yeah,
and addresses Triple H directly. And Hunter, do I have your attention now?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
God, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
Just staring into the camera, takes his sunglasses off.
Yeah. And then, of course, they all go running back to try to get him and see if Flair's okay. And he's gone. And then, it led to a mini program in the build to WrestleMania with Triple H, and they had the match there.
It was a fun match.
And it was a fun match. It was probably a bit on the long side, but they did a lot of fun stuff.
Triple H match.
It's a Triple H match.
Of course, it'd be long.
And there was some really good stuff along the way. But that opening salvo, if you will, was very, very strong, and absolutely it was a chill-inducing moment. It was
it was great.
Wow,
it was great. The way it's a small change in terms of how they photographed. Everything made all the difference in the world. If they had done it like they usually do everything else, it still have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it felt like Batista was literally invading Raw to do this.
You can tell, dude, here's the thing. You can always tell when Triple H is in control of something because it's got that NXT feeling where it makes, from a production standpoint, it makes sense. Everything in NXT from a production standpoint makes sense. It's always either a camera happened to catch this or a camera happened to catch that.
Or a camera is doing something else and catches something else in the background,
Exactly. Production-wise, it always makes sense. It adds to the believability of the world.
It makes it feel like one living, breathing, organic universe.
When you have two people awkwardly standing here backstage in a locker room having a personal conversation and there's just a cameraman there filming it, it doesn't make any logical sense. Why would these people have waited for a cameraman, have waited for this cue to go live? That doesn't make any logical sense. When Triple H is in charge of whatever segment might be, he might be rolling with, and it's like you understand that this is his thing with Batista. Chances are, and we don't know this for sure, but chances are Triple H is the one who's saying, okay, this is how I want this to go down.
Well, it's probably a combination of Triple H, Batista.
Yeah, he's probably collaborating with Batista on it. So, and that's why it was so strong, because it and that's the kind of thing, honestly, that's the kind of thing that I think, that I'd like to think that we can expect. And when we talk about, like, you often talk about how presentation needs to change, and that's the kind of thing I think you're talking about.
Totally.
Is for things to make sense logically and how it's presented to us.
Even back in the Attitude Era, when they used to do stuff kind of like where they just try to capture conversations or running backstage, you always had the idea that the backstage area was a living, breathing organism, that things could happen out of nowhere. Like there's a sense of spontaneity.
Yeah.
And that's completely lacking now.
Yeah, it is. It really
Apart
is.
from number 2.
Yeah.
The second entry on this is totally felt like a spontaneous,
It did.
highly combustible moment, and it was great.
We'll get there in a moment. But
Yes.
first, number 3.
3.
Firefly Funhouse. Oh, man. So this began with a couple of very short reveals.
Yes, a series of vignettes, yes.
There's like a box, and then Mercy the Buzzard, we later learn his name, a puppet of a buzzard came popping out.
Start coughing and laughing.
Yeah. And then I believe after that we got Abby. Did we get the
Yes.
Abby after that and a couple
Yes.
more? And then we learned this is all prelude to Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt's new children's show, which, of course, is going to be a reveal for The Fiend. Maybe at this point he's already debuted in the ring.
Yeah, who knows?
We filmed this over a month ago.
Yes, but yeah, the debut of this, we had speculated, or someone mentioned in like a question or something. It's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this were like a children's show that has really dark undercurrents? And that's totally what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Bray's performance, seemingly he's been steering it creatively for the most part. He's hit a home run, totally.
Yeah.
Seemingly every episode has gotten better than the last. Although Muscle Man Dance might have been the highlight, but this last one was pretty good.
Yeah, they were both great for different reasons.
Yes.
Muscle Man Dance was amazing.
Yeah.
Erase your mind.
He's done a really good job of reinventing his character.
Yeah.
While still hearkening back to the previous iteration of Bray. I just don't know how they're going to transition what they're doing in Firefly Funhouse into the ring and make it feel impactful.
The main question mark, the X factor here is, when will Bray's heavy hand and creative end, and when will Vince's begin?
Yes.
That's going to be the issue. If all the in-ring stuff is written by Vince, it's going to be a major problem. It'll go nowhere. Vince will probably get bored with it sooner than later. Bray will be back to square one. If they allow Bray, number one, if Vince understands that this is a successful endeavor thus far, hopefully he will then trust Bray to go where he wants with the stories.
Hopefully.
If that's the case, I am completely and totally on board, and I trust in Bray.
Yes.
If Vince takes over, which is probably the more likely outcome, it will probably go down the hill soon.
Yeah.
However, I'm loving this while it's around.
Oh, it's been a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Let's get to number 2. The Mania main event Brawl.
Oh,
this
man.
was amazing.
Yeah, this went down April 1st. The Raw Go Home show at Mania. I believe it was the night they announced it was the Mania match would be winner take all.
Yes. Yes.
And so there's a segment in ring. Of course, that leads to physicality between Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. You think this all broken up, and they cut backstage, and it's simultaneously thrilling, hyper violent, and funny.
Well, they get let off in handcuffs.
Yes.
Because they all take shots at each other. That brings out security and the cops or whatever.
And they're led backstage.
They're led backstage, but it's obvious that even as they're being led backstage and we're still in the arena, that they're still trying to do whatever they can to break away and get at each other.
Charlotte's like kicking at cops. I think Becky's stomping on feet.
Right. Yeah.
They're chomping at the bit to get their hands on each other again.
Right. And it's the great thing is before they're cuffed, I forgot, maybe it was Ronda who got cuffed first, and Becky can't help herself. She understands that she's about to get cuffed, and she just rolls up on her and starts beating on her anyways.
Hits her with a forearm.
Exactly.
And at this point, Charlotte's outside the ring, and she's kind of laughing at the whole situation. But it's the same thing. Like Becky gets cuffed, Charlotte can't help herself.
Exactly.
I think she drops her with a boot.
Yeah.
She gets cuffed. They're all led to the back.
Still trying to get out of it. Yeah, like you said, we think it's over. Then we get to the back, and it's a Benny Hill skit. It's amazing. At one point, so they're trying to get him into police cars. At one point, they've got Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch in the same police car.
That's what they do. They sit next, and they lay on their back and start kicking each other.
And the camera gets to them moments before. The timing was so perfect. Moments before they look at each other and realize where they are and what they can now do. So they're going at it. Charlotte's still trying to get away from her cops. And at one point, God, who?
So Becky kicks the window open there.
Becky kicks away. Yeah, Becky kicks away. Go ahead, because I'm trying to piece together.
And then Charlotte was going to be put in a different car, a marked police car.
Yeah.
She gets out. Ronda starts jawing at her, and so Charlotte just runs up and drops her with a knee to the face.
Yeah.
Because Becky got in the driver's seat and drove the car into the other.
I thought that was Ronda also.
How did she end up back in the back seat?
I don't know. Let me see.
Because she's in the back seat still. Maybe it was Ronda. That makes sense. But she ended up back in the back seat.
Yeah.
God, it was good.
It was good. It was pure chaos. It never stopped, and that just added so much to it.
God,
it was
so
just it was relentless.
And it's a situation, like I mentioned, where it felt spontaneous, combustible, out of control. Mm-hmm. Halftime, even they have a brawl in the ring where the locker room empties out. That's always nice to see. It never feels like things could legitimately get out of control.
Yeah, exactly.
And this seemed like it could legitimately get out of control.
Yeah.
Because you had moving vehicles involved.
And
I don't know.
did. I mean, at one point, I think it was Ronda. She like we said, she somehow, because she got left alone, she got up in the front and just hit the gas and went
into the marked police car. Yeah, she was in the unmarked car.
Oh, that was so good.
It was so good.
It was really good. But number one is a feel-good moment. Let's talk about it now. Number one. Roman returns. The words "I'm in remission," y'all.
Yep.
Were just awesome to hear.
Yeah. This was February 25th. He was out of action for about 3 or 4 months following
November,
return of his leukemia, which had been in remission for about 10 years. It was great to hear him say, hey, I'm back. I'm in remission, y'all. Mm-hmm. It's just good to hear.
It was just a great moment. I mean, it's his booking ever since then has been sort of up and down. We're going to talk a little bit more about him on the SmackDown list tomorrow. Mm-hmm. There was some good stuff with him and Vince, namely Superman punching Vince. And they've sort of kept him out of the title scene for a little bit.
Until Shane wins it, probably.
Until Shane wins that title, which might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goodness. But yeah, no, I mean, that's just, the guy was able to return to the thing he loves.
Yeah.
Because this horrible thing was in remission.
Yeah.
So it was of course,
great feel-good, heartwarming moment.
Of course, it's number one. Let's talk about some of these crap moments.
Yeah, you have one here. Natalia accidentally ignores Dana Brooke. What is that? I don't remember that.
Remember, Natalia had her earbuds in.
Oh, okay.
It was her AirPods.
Yeah.
And Dana Brooke, and I just remember it because of the whole joke about AirPods being only for rich people.
Yeah.
And so she's sitting there. I don't know. It was just, I was looking for any stupid ass little moment. Actually, on a couple of these, on the potentially good lists, on the potentially most memorable moments, there was, of course, the big NXT call-ups.
That could be on the good or bad.
That could be on the good or bad, given how it was done. But, I mean, Aleister Black and Ricochet as a team for a while was pretty cool.
They were a good team. I love the Apollo Crews, Bob Lashley pose-off.
That was a personal favorite for both of ours. I mean, it wasn't the most consequential thing in the world.
No.
And it was kind of frustrating because it gave us a glimpse of what could have been a really cool feud, and it gave us a glimpse of Apollo Crews really letting his personality shine.
Yep.
And really getting over with the crowd and just that one little thing.
Oh, it did a lot for him.
Then they dropped it.
And then the Raw after the Rumble, they teased a program between Nia Jax and Dean Ambrose. There was a stare down, and then Nia elbowed Dean out of the ring. Yeah,
and he was about to go back to her, and it was a really cool moment that could have led somewhere. They were going to do a match at some point, and then they didn't do a match.
Yeah.
But it was a cool moment.
It was.
Let's see some of these other bad moments.
Oh, yeah,
Mojo Rawley staring and laughing at a mirror.
I kind of like his face paint, though.
And yelling at him.
He's a cracked mirror. I like that.
You're kind of alone on that one, but
fine.
that's cool. Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
You have Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg singing their song. That should be on the best list.
No, man. No. Nobody cared about that song. Nobody knew it.
I actually thought that was going to be Elias's Mania program was against Jeff Jarrett.
And then I think the next week he had a Jeff Jarrett match.
Yeah, this was in February or something.
Yeah.
Otis speaks gibberish. Be more specific, please.
So he did this a couple times, obviously.
Is this in the moment of bliss?
He did in the moment of bliss. He goes, doing
this.
Yeah. And it was is he supposed to be messed up in the head? Is he supposed to be have a speech problem?
I think it's just a live wire. A loose cannon.
Loose cannon. Brian Pillman was a loose cannon. He had a gun.
Yoshihashi is a loose cannon.
Yeah. No.
Is this Kevin Owens eats popcorn with his son? Is that the iPhone promo he did?
Yeah.
Why was that bad?
Because I want to see him kick ass and be cool.
That's when he was trying. They were trying to do a face thing with him. I thought that was fine. I disagree.
I don't
want
to see him eating popcorn with the sun.
No, Viking experience. Yeah, that's definitely on the worst.
Yeah, definitely the worst is a Viking experience.
Yes.
And where are War Raiders? And where is War Machine?
Main
now?
event.
Not the main event. Well, it's been a month. Maybe they're the tag team champions.
Could be.
Maybe they're the tag champions.
I kind of feel like this revival Uso thing is going to be going on for a little bit longer.
All right. So yeah, there you go. Let us know what Raw moments you enjoyed.
Yes.
If you can think of any.
That we didn't include.
In the comments. Want to say thanks so much for watching, and until next time. Oh, this Monday, we're back live, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.